Let's welcome team number 6. That it's going to be from the patient's view. Tawna Wilkinson from the Department of Physical Therapy. Tawna, come on down. You got 10 minutes.
I'm coming.
Give your pitch.
I'm coming. All right. Thank you very much for welcoming me to come before you and do this pitch. So my idea really is kind of stirring from the thought process of developing some professional skills in our students as they are here on campus. So really allowing an opportunity to use a little bit of technology to give our students a new perspective from the patient's view. So we often use videos to kind of look at the clinical environment, to assess kind of that clinical performance and a little bit of that interaction with the patient and the student itself. So right here you can see we capture a lot. We capture the environment, we capture some of that skill set from that clinical perspective and their handling of the patient, but there's still something a little missing. We're not as close as we need to be to really look at those personal skills that are part of that clinical environment and such a necessity. So often our nonverbal and our verbal skills are that starting place with our patient. And our relationship and the development of working with our patient is really stirred from the start of that specific moment. And we know we're not always perceived as we intend to be.
Here, turn him towards me. Where's the baby? There he is. Where's the baby? There he is!
Now, by no means am I saying our students are saber-toothed tigers coming at their patient like that. But the reality is our patients are in a very vulnerable place a lot of times when they're seeking our services. And to be that compassionate caregiver that is in tune to them, communicating and developing those skills so that when they hit their clinical life, developing through this program and on to graduation, they're really able to respond to the patient and have that self-awareness. And what we find, we as faculty, that students often are so wrapped up in so many of the things that they have to do. They have all the special tests to perform. They must ask this question. They have to find out who's the caregiver going to be. And the list goes on, that they're constantly thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, and not always present in the moment with their patient. So this is just one example, and I think I have students in the crowd, so I'm not going to throw any students under the bus. But we can talk to our students after these big practical exams where they're working with standardized patients and they're having that interaction, and we do the debriefing and we talk to them and we say, you know, did you realize that you just didn't follow up on that particular thing? Do you realize that you were twirling your hair or you're biting your lip all the time? So a lot of those communication skills, they take time to become aware of. And we can tell them, but for them to see it really means a lot. That develops their awareness. So progression of the interpersonal skills, I believe, I'm very passionate about, as my colleagues and students probably can contest to in the audience. But that's really, it's great that we have all these clinical skills. We need all of it. We need to be that clinician with the full package of what we can offer our patients from that whole person healthcare. Really being in tune, being present, listening, attending, responding. And I believe that through a little use of technology, which I will show you in a moment, we can allow the students the opportunity to see themselves in a different viewpoint to really assess, reflect, and set goals that can become part of their professional development. So really, we ask, you know, how do our patients see us? And I want the students in our programs to be able to be having a window to that. And to do that, we really need to change the view. It's all about gaining perspective, getting up close and personal. That's my crazy boss as I was playing in my office. You can see on the top right, you know, it's great. We have a visual again of that interaction from afar to see a little bit of what that is, that experience and that patient encounter is.
Does this provoke any symptoms? No.
At bottom left, you're actually much more up close and personal, and along with the one on the right. where you can see from the patient's perspective a lot differently that this is who they're seeing. They're seeing you as a student. And how is that communication? How is your eye contact? How are your listening skills? Are you using a lot of filler words? Are you responding at the times that a patient is requiring a response? So all of those soft skills that are part of our interpersonal development. So all 4 of these were captured with a very, I will say, fairly low-tech technology, GoPro. So this is a Hero 4 session GoPro. It's the latest one that they have. I can't move outside the X's. And you can see that I've done a little modification on this one. I'd looked at a lot of different technology, but this really captures really well. And you can clip it, and I'll show you, and you might get recorded. So not that you would always put it on a hat, but they have a lot of different mechanisms to secure these devices in a different way, to put it in an area that is where the patient is moving and where their visual processes are moving towards with their interactions with their students. So it's just a simple technology to be thinking about and using, where it's easily downloaded to free software, edited, and made available for each student so that they can work with a faculty member to come in, take a look, do a self-assessment, and to kind of reflect not only on the assessment that they did at the moment that they completed a practical exam, but also looking and learning to see was their self-assessment truly correct at that time. So just a little bit of a video capture that changes the perspective to move it from afar to nice up close and personal. So that's my pitch.
Yay, yay! Thank you. Well done.
I might post you later.
Uh-oh, there you go. I have a face for radio, so good luck. All right, so let's, any questions from our judges, please? Yes, Dr. Gebbets.
Has GoPro been utilized by other health profession schools?
Not that I am aware of. I actually know one other school that has used the Google Glasses for a pilot project that was just recently done, and that's the only one that I know of with the Google Glasses.
Yeah?
Tawna, fabulous presentation. Thank you. Do you think the students will change the way they've been behaving because they know the camera's looking at them?
That's a great question. And so some of the students in the audience probably knew, because I had been this thought process was going on in fall quarter with my class, that we do a lot of videotaping in for some projects that they do. And so I think that anything that's new could create a behavior change. So I think it's really important to be thinking about implementing it not just during those practical exam timeframes where it's more high stakes, but letting it become part of, they can use it in my lab at any point in time, and use that opportunity to kind of desensitize to it so that it is something that they're just very used to being part of the entire thing. Great question.
Bob?
I presume you have to get permission from the patients to film them. Is that correct?
Yes, there is a policy through HR that we would need to ensure that we have the permission and the rights to do that. Okay. There's protections we can put in place that the videos will not leave a faculty office, though, as well, so that the students can only view it when they're in, it'll be me, in my office to be able to review that as well, to keep that protection.
Okay.
Michael?
You'd still need permission, but this will be used with simulated patients, right? I mean, not with actual patients out in a clinical setting.
No, this will not be implemented out into the clinic. There's just too many hoops to have to go through to ensure and protect those patients' rights. So within the environment here in the university, as a learning platform, a learning engagement activity embedded in classes, and the technology can be used by other programs if students are working on projects as well, or they just want a little extra feedback for them. It can be something that can be made available for multiple things. And that's why I chose the GoPro, because it can change anywhere and be used for a lot of different things, rather than my colleagues that used Google Glasses that I just learned about. That kind of limits the use.
Would you do some training with the simulated patients in advance, or orientation?
We always do training with our patients, so this would obviously have to be something discussed with them so that they could learn that comfort. The nice thing about the GoPro is a stabilizing feature on it. Some of the glasses don't have a stabilizing feature, so even the little extraneous movements, answering yes or no, can make that video very dizzying. This does not. So it will take a little bit of training and just gathering a little bit of comfort. It's very lightweight. You're welcome to pass it around. So it's not too terribly cumbersome. And headbands, I have industrial strength Velcro that I could use on just about anything. This is the casing that is typically used with it, but it adds weight and a little bit more size. So I actually went to Home Depot and grabbed some 3M nice things to kind of modify.
Ted?
A real simple question. When you say video, this is audio and video?
Yes, it is. And it downloads quick and easy into the GoPro Studio software that is free. So that's a nice benefit too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tawna. Appreciate it. Great.